In the enclave also continue, but we now head over to Europe. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling for tougher sanctions on Russia after what he describes as the largest drone assault since the war began. He urged allies to impose biting sanctions, including secondary restrictions on Russian oil exports. Ukraine's Air Force says Russia launched 728 drones and 13 missiles overnight, with air defences intercepting 718 of those drones and 7 missiles. The attack hit multiple regions, including Kyiv, Lviv, Dnipro, Kharkiv and Odesa, and is seen as a major escalation in Russia's drone warfare. Well, joining us to discuss these developments is Dr. Sergei Dvoryanov, President of the IDC Russia and Director of the WHD International Board. Dr. Dvoryanov, thank you very much for joining us live on the programme today. Zelensky saying this is the largest strike of the war so far. What's the significance of this in the face of pressure from Western nations, including the US overnight, regarding potential sanctions on Russia? Well, while we wait for Dr. Dvoryanov to rejoin us, of course, to give you some context on this war that is now into its 4th year. Work on a ceasefire has been prominent in recent months, with 2 face-to-face talks between Russia and Ukraine held in Istanbul, that at a time when they hadn't spoken for 3 years. While prisoner of war exchanges took place, pressure on Russia to agree to a 30-day ceasefire from Western nations and Ukraine has so far led to no results. I understand we are once again joined by Dr. Dvoryanov. I will repose my question to you. What's the significance of these Russian strikes in the face of potential sanctions and further pressure from Western allies of Ukraine and Western nations on Russia to try and work towards a ceasefire?
First of all, I would like to start, like a religious philosopher, to give my comments that we are living in the changeable world, because it's a material world. In this world, we cannot have permanent friends and permanent enemies. Always the friends and enemies change their places. Because, see, our national leader, Vladimir Putin, he has his own historical mission. To complete this mission, put justice into international relations. First of all, number one. It's very important. He starts this mission when? He starts from the beginning of his presidency, which already more than 20 years. During these 20 years, it was a lot of different American presidents. Bush, it was Donald Trump, it was Biden, Joe Biden. They always tried to put their mission. But 2007, our honorable President Vladimir Putin started with his famous speech, multipolar world. His very, very famous speech. You can check. And all politicians right now, in General Secretary of United Nations, he use these words, multipolar world. That is important. And we should complete this mission. It's not like only America and West will decide who will play a role in the modern policy.
Dr. Dvoryanov, sorry to interject. Right. I just don't know where this conversation is going. I've asked you a question about strikes that Russia have supposedly launched on Ukraine, over 700 drones. Can we talk about that, please?
The subject matter. Thank you so much that you remind me. Thank you. I'm so appreciate. Highly. Thank you. Regarding this sanctions, see, before Donald Trump, he promised that it will be peacemaking dialogue between Russia and Ukraine. Right now, he changed his position. What we can do? What is our reaction should be? Only one kind of reaction I can propose. We should only pray for the heart of Donald Trump, because heart of the king in the hand of God. That's why we should only approach to the God. God will change his heart as easy as is. Because you see, we have our mission, we have our position, we will not change our position. Our president already confirmed a lot of times that that is our nation position. He contributes himself to our nations. He cannot change it. If Donald Trump changed his position, it's perfectly fine. It's related to him. We will not change our position at all. That's why you know that during all the history, last 1,000 years, not 100, last 1,000 years, nobody can pressure to the Russia and put to the Russia their decision. We always go to our goal, which is to save our nation, to be religious, to support traditions, support traditional values. That is our agenda. Nothing else. Nothing else. That's why we're not related to Donald Trump at all.
What are Russia saving from themselves from? That's a statement you've just made there. Of course, this war has been going on for around 40 months now, with further advances reported by Russian military within Ukraine, with attacks coming from Russia reportedly on civilian infrastructure, allegations of it going the other way. But I want to understand what it is exactly that you're saying. What is this ultimate aim of Vladimir Putin? Donald Trump seems to think that Vladimir Putin wanted peace. His rhetoric is changing on that. He's looking at secondary sanctions. So what is Vladimir Putin's aim that you keep talking about?
I will tell you that the last war with Nazi, with fascism, was 5 years. 5 years we fight and we was winners. And this year, particularly this is 80th anniversary of our victory. And we contribute most lives. 20 millions of Russians was dedicated to this victory, sacrificed themselves. All our nations did the most biggest contribution. We should not forget about this. That's why, of course, Vladimir Putin is followed his words, and his activity confirm all his words, that we try our level best bring peace, because peace cannot be installed without removing Nazi. Nazi, not like a movement, like a mood, like the last Nazi should be removed from the map of the Ukraine. That's why he is completely dedicated. And I'm highly appreciative of his mood. That's why America should not put pressure. More pressure they put to Russia, Russia will be more stronger. You should understand the character of Russian people. They always keep care about their dignity. You know, nobody can defeat Russians. Russian character, you can check with the Second War.
But Dr. Dvoryanov, who's trying to defeat Russia? Who's trying to defeat Russia? A full-scale invasion of Ukraine was launched by Russia. I don't understand what your point is. I'm trying to understand what it is that you're saying. We're looking at a geopolitical situation currently ongoing where there is wide Western media pressure on Russia to try and end this war, which Vladimir Putin himself has said that he's willing to negotiate towards a peace deal. I'm struggling to understand what point you're trying to make here.
Yes, peace deal is very required, but with acceptable conditions. We should understand, we are always... What about the Minsk agreement? All Western leaders came to the Minsk, it was agreement, then they told, even, you see, the leader of the Germany, former leader, she told that we just keep our, we just try to buy a time to destruct this Minsk agreement and to start expansion against Russia. That is their policy, that in their mind, in their heart. We cannot change the blood of the Western politicians. It's always last 1,000 years already in their blood, in their mentality. It will, because on enmity to the Russia. Russia has a big power because we always want to support justice in international relationships, nothing else. We should change the policy. If it will peacemaking dialogue, it should be very open, hard dialogue, without any hanky-panky, you know, like they have in mind one, they tell anything else. It should be proper with justice. We should sit on round table. We're open to peacemaking dialogue. Just we should sit and pray to the God, first of all. We should pray to the God. God will change the hearts of the Western politicians. Nothing else required.
Dr. Dvoryanov, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but I appreciate you giving up your time to speak with us. I am now going to be joined by my colleague, correspondent and anchor, Thomas Porteous, who is joining us live from the newsroom as we wait for him. Of course, this situation is a tense one. Discussions that have been had continuously regarding a potential ceasefire deal have then been followed by further military action reported by Russia and Ukraine against each country. I believe we are now joined by Thomas. We unfortunately didn't get the answers we wanted there on the latest news that we've had, Thomas, regarding these overnight strikes from Russia, a record number that has been reported by Ukraine. What more can you tell us about that and the diplomacy that has been had overnight?
Yes, Joshua, as you said, a record-breaking number aerial assaults, 728 drones and 13 ballistic missiles, all of which were intercepted by Ukrainian air defenses, as far as we know. This symbolizes an escalation in Russia's air attack that has been escalating over the past few months, even with this backdrop of supposed peace negotiations going on, negotiated by President Donald Trump. As you said, President Donald Trump's rhetoric on this situation seems to be shifting. There seems to be a possible secondary Western sanctions coming upon Russia, something that Moscow obviously does not want, given the current sanctions that are on them. There's also been shifts in military aid after initially halting some aid shipments to Ukraine, military aid shipments to Ukraine. The US seems to has now resumed that, but Trump has said he's been blindsided by Putin's actions in this war. As he said famously that he was going to end this war in a single day after being in office. The war's now entering its 21st month, and now, as you previously said, that there has been peace deals drafted, temporary pauses, etc. Moscow has rejected those temporary pauses over and over again. There has been both a US and Ukraine brokered 30-day pause in the fighting. Moscow rejected that due to their demands not being met. And so once again, we will hopefully see new direct talks in Istanbul, as we've had two of them previously, which we've only seen prisoner swaps. So as this war goes, no serious breakthroughs, especially in regard to a peace deal, but unfortunately, escalating fighting.
Yes, absolutely, Thomas, and comments from Donald Trump overnight. Of course, with potential ramifications, we will bring you all of the updates on the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war as we get them. But now we stay in Europe, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says he is cautiously optimistic